Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back. Getting ready for day 3 of our goals challenge or our goals workshop, level up our goals workshop. We're going to be discussing living in alignment, meaning we are going to be doing some work. I'm trying to pick up my notebook. We're going to be doing some work on understanding how we can set goals that align with our life's intentions. If you try to set a goal that isn't in alignment with yourself spiritually, it's going to be an uphill battle. And so it's like you've got to make sure you're setting goals that align with you. We are all so different. And I know, at least working in the, coaching small businesses and the wreath making community, there's so many people who try to copy like what their mentors are doing. And I think that there is a time for that. When you are testing the waters, you're trying to learn. And I think, that to me is the best way to learn is to see somebody who has something that you align with or that you like. And you take some efforts, right? You start doing some of the things that they might do, or you look at it and you're like, I want to implement that, right? With my goals or with my business or with my style or whatever. However, at one point, I feel like that can only take you so far because you're aligning with them, right? You're not aligning with yourself. And I started thinking this morning, coming into the office, what stops someone from doing the goal, like setting the goal and doing the goal, whatever that is? Like, what is it that is that action gap? It's like you know what to do, but then you don't take the action on it. Doing gap, the action gap. It boils down to it could be a few things, but I'm just kind of resonating with me, what has stopped me in the past. I don't think it's one thing. I don't think there's one thing that works for everyone. Just like I said before, we are all like snowflakes, beautiful in our own way, but completely different from everyone else. And so in order to discover what that is, why we don't take an action when we know we want to change, we want to do something different, we have to look within. Our answers for everything are within us. And I think a lot of times people just don't want to do that. It feels hard because you know why? We have been brought up in a society of distraction, right? We have been told to look at social media, look at the news media, even before, I remember my parents were, they were always looking at the newspaper. They were filling their days with entertainment on the television. They were being distracted. We're always being distracted. We were brought up in our lives since birth, how to be distracted and not to take time to ask yourself some hard, tough questions. Like, what do you really want? What do you want in this life? What do you want for your business? What do you want? Right? And when you take some time to do that, you get some clarity. You realize what you like and what you don't like. What do you want to be and what do you don't want to be? You get clarity, but then something else happens. Maybe you do know what you want to do, right? And you've taken the time to figure that out. But then why do we not take action? What prevents that next step? The first step, literally the first step. I think that first, there's a lot of fear, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of failing. Sometimes it's fear of even being successful. That was me at one point. Not feeling like they were good enough. Fear of judgment. What will everybody think? What will my husband think? What will my friends think? They have fear that they don't have what it takes, right? And I'm like, how do you know if you don't even try? How do you know if you don't try that you don't have what it takes? And then with the fear, like, how do you know something is going to be not up your alley unless you try it? The fear of failure is something that we all have, a version of it some way, of a fear of losing money because we tried something new. You know what I mean? So we all have that. However, where's that going with that? It just feels like that there's not something, I just also want to say, like, for me to get through that fear, I asked myself, has there ever been a time that I failed so greatly that I couldn't get myself out of it? That I couldn't figure out a way, that I couldn't, look to somebody else for advice or for assistance or for whatever? No, never. Never once have I ever had to do that. And so, I'm like, why not go for it? What else do I have to lose? It's like, do you want to be dancing with the fears, or do you want to be dancing with achieving your goals and your dreams? I would much rather be taking action and overcoming those fears than stuck, feeling like this is my life, like for the rest of until I die, like this is it. I always wanted, like, whenever something didn't align with me, the way I was living, like, I had this burning desire to do something different. I think we all inherently have it. And we have to get over the fear of just going for it. Because you have this one life, right? And the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Because then we have that fear of, I'm too old to do something new. The fear of judgment has held me back too many times. And I'm kind of like to the point where I'm like not caring anymore. I just want to do what I want to do. I have this calling, this idea or drive or desire put there, not by me, by God. And so if I'm sitting here full of fear, what message am I sending? Like, don't send me more opportunity. Don't send me more ideas. Don't come here to this. This door is closed because I'm afraid. Did you know that God is ultimate love? I see it that way anyway. God is ultimate love. And what's the opposite of that? Fear. So no, God, to you, but I'm going to listen to my fear and give in to that. The other thing to consider is, after doing goal achieving for a while, I realized that fear is going to be there. It has to be. It's part of the process of the goal, of achieving it. You have to go through the trials and tribulations, the struggles, the challenges. You have to go through it in order to achieve the goal. There's no way around that. We all have it. It doesn't matter what your name is, what your career is, how old you are, how young you are. There is this sense of change, right? And it's something new to us because, again, we were taught from birth to be distracted and not listen to what we're supposed to really be doing with our lives. I think also there could be people that have that lack of clarity. They have the vision of what they want the end result to be, but they haven't taken time to look at what the steps are to get there. Or maybe the first step is so big that they're just, again, back to fear again. But if you don't know where you're driving, like, for example, if I have a goal to have a trip to Italy, like a dream life trip to Italy, I'm going to need a path to get there. I'm going to need to know when the dates are, what time we leave in, what reservations, do I need plane tickets? What about train tickets? Where are we staying when we get there? Where are we going to eat? What am I going to pack? Like, if you don't know where if you're not clear on exactly how to get what you want, you're going to freeze every time. You're just not going to, because you don't know what to do. So you're like paralyzed, right? I think also there's these limiting beliefs. It feels like just this combination. I'm just sharing with you for me, like what affects me. There's these limited beliefs that money is hard to come by, that success only happens to a few, not a lot. Things that maybe our family has told us, or sisters or brothers, right? Parents are really bad about it. Grandparents. And honestly, they're only mirroring their own feelings. It's not that I think they're just trying to protect us. In their mind, they're trying to protect us. But ultimately, they're just mirroring their own fears. They don't know any better. And so you can't have ill will when somebody's doing their best, right? But it ends up still like affecting you negatively. You have to just learn what they were doing and move forward with it. I grew up in a house where someone told me that I couldn't have success. I couldn't have the luxury life. I couldn't be well off unless I married. And so that stuff, when you hear certain things like that, you kind of like buy into it. And so you got to ask yourself, what I've been believing all my life, is it an absolute truth or is it relative? Meaning, is it absolutely true for every woman, right? That they can't be successful and have money without marrying? No. Is it true, whatever you lie you're telling yourself, is it true for everyone? Because if it's not true for everyone, that means there is opportunity. Opportunity is there for you, right? People label us. Teachers have labeled me before, calling me Miss Hollywood when I was in gym class. And at first it was kind of cute, but then became annoying and everybody laughed at me. And then you go up like growing thinking, maybe I'm not supposed to be physically fit because I was like told that, so who knows what people are telling us all through our lives. And we start buying into it, that we don't fit in because of this, or, I'm supposed to be a certain way because that's what people have told me all my life. How many times our parents have told us that you're going to have medical issues because it runs in the family, kind of thing. I don't think that's true. I think that some genes probably could lean toward that, but I ultimately feel that in our mind, we can affect outcomes physically. And we can, in our mind, spiritually think of things and affect our physical reality. I've seen it happen. It's worked for me. And so I don't buy it anymore. I'm tired of listening to that. I'm listening to what I feel is being delivered to me by God. You're not too old. You're not too late. You haven't missed the boat. You can still live the life you want to live, right? I think a lot of times we don't take action because we see that it's going to take a little time and effort to get to it. And we're living in a society of Amazon delivery the next day. Or we order groceries on an app and it's in our front door in a couple of hours, right? We don't understand that what the real things that matter, that impact our lives, take time to develop. And the reason it takes time is because you have to become the person before you get whatever it is you desire. So if you want a goal, I don't know what, let's say you want your goal is to retire early and quit your job. You have to think about that. You have to almost become the person who's going to be in the retirement stage. Like, what are you going to do with your day when literally every day feels like a Saturday now? Like, how's it going to feel for you? If your goal is to get healthy, like, what does that healthy person do? What does she do in the morning? What does she say no and yes to? You have to start becoming the person before you achieve the goal. That's what attracts the goal to you. It's not like you get the goal and you change. You're changing as you are trying to attract the goal to you, as you're trying to achieve the goal. So that takes time, right? And I think a lot of people are like, well, that's just going to be too hard and too long. Let me instead binge watch Netflix. Let me instead spend hours a day on the scroll feed of social media, right? Results that matter, that are life-changing, can take some time, but it's worth it. It is worth it. Do you know how long it took me to finally feel like I made a successful business? It was years. I mean, I think a lot of times you see someone and you're like, oh, well, she started a business and she's successful, but you don't understand that it has taken years to do this, of constant showing up for myself, dedication to it, through the limiting beliefs going on in my head, the not good enough, fearful, worried about money, all of it, right? You have to go through that. And so it takes time to get through that. It's not a quick win. And ultimately changing within, it could be a life's journey, because what happens is you get to a certain point of like, you achieve the goal, and guess what? You got another desire, another goal, another God nudge to move you forward. And you're started all over again, going through the mental stuff, the not good enough, all of the limiting beliefs, all of the stuff that we went through before, right? Surely you know what I mean. Like, you've been there. You've done something hard in your life that you were like, holy crap, I can't believe I just did that. Right? You've been through it. You know what the mental struggle can be. Have you ever seen like athletes? Like, my son was on the football team, and constantly the coaches were just regurgitating these powerful words to them, that having them buy in to the belief that they were capable of more. You got to do that with everything you do in life. You have to be your own coach, your own motivator. You know why you're going to be that? Because the thing that you want to achieve is so great. The desire to have it lights you on fire. And you're going to show up no matter if it's raining, if you're tired, if you're not feeling well, if you're not motivated. Right? You've got this desire that it doesn't matter what it takes. I'll figure it out one way or another. I've got an answer coming to me. I'm ready to receive it. That's the kind of mentality we have to have when we're going after our goals. I think a lot of times perfectionism has kind of crippled me. I'm not sure where perfectionism comes from. If it's something, I think there's a little bit of something born there, but then there's a lot of, I grew up really disappointing my parents a lot. And so as I got to an age when I was like, oh shit, I messed up. Let me try to fix this. And then it was like constantly trying to get approval. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the answer to it or not. But we have perfectionism. You're not the only one. And so to me, just taking that first step, I was like, but it's not ready yet. It's not perfect yet. And you stay in this constant of learning. Just let me learn a little more. Let me just figure this out one more time. I see that so much in wreath making. People want to perfect it by watching the videos. And that's not how it is. First of all, there is no such thing as perfection. I feel like the only thing that is perfection is unconditional love, right? That's the only thing that I can even grasp as true. Unconditional love, God's unconditional love. So if we know there's no such thing, there's no way this is ever going to be perfect. And whenever people ask me to critique their wreaths, I look at them and I can give suggestions for making them better, but there's no way it's going to be perfect. There's so many times when I will take a picture of a wreath and I'm like, okay, let me tweak it. Let me do this. Let me do that. At some point, you've got to just walk away. You've got to realize that there's no perfection here. And so if we are in a constant state of learning, we become stagnant because we just think that the next step is going to be messy or it's not going to be good enough or whatever. There's no such thing as that. It's going to be messy. It's going to be imperfect. You know how you become better and perfect at something, or at least what your version of perfect is by showing up and practicing and doing it over and over and over and over again. Right? Whatever comes easy is something that you have done over and over again. Everybody says to me, oh my gosh, you make it look so easy. Well, yeah, I've been doing it daily for 15 years. I hope it looks easy now, right? So your perfection, don't wait on that. You become better with each step you take, right? The other thing is, we think that we don't have the support system. We don't have somebody supporting us for our dreams. We don't have an accountability partner or a cheerleader on our side. I'm just here to say, have you ever had a friend come to you and have this big dream and you look at her and you're like, girl, you sounding cray-cray. Delulu. What are you thinking? Well, that's because God did not put that dream on you. It put it on your friend. Just like when God puts our desires and our dreams on us, it's not for anybody else to get behind. It's only meant for us. We have to be our own accountability partner. Not to say that you can't reach out to mentors, reach out to coaches, read books, listen to podcasts. Definitely there's help all the way around for you in every, medium that you want. But you're the one that's going to have to go out and find it and get it for yourself. And the people that are not there in your family supporting you, so be it. So be it. You're not living their life. They're not living your life. You're living for you, right? Of course, we don't want divorces or anything like that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that sometimes we don't have to share all of our dreams with the people that we live with. The dream is between you and God, right? Go for it. And then just watch what they have to say when you succeed. It happened for me. It happened for me. Right? I mean, my husband wasn't all on board when I first started, but he was also like, well, what's it going to hurt? What's it going to hurt? Go for it. And I was like, just watch me. Just watch me. And then before you know it, I'm in the garage. He gave me a little piece of a corner of a garage to work in. And then before you know it, he gave me half of the garage. Woohoo! I was moving up in the world. And then the day came, I got the whole garage. And you know when that day came? When I was able to pay our mortgage with my business. It's like you show them that you have it and you have what it takes. That's when they start to get behind your vision, right? So you don't need the accountability. You don't need somebody to be on your team all the time. You just need the desire. It's got to be so burning desire. You have this little itch that you just got to scratch it. That kind of desire, right? I think the biggest thing is the identity crisis that has to happen to achieve the goal. We realize down deep, somewhere maybe subconsciously, that we have to change. We have to become a different version of ourselves. And I won't say better version because we are already great. Like we literally don't have to do anything and we're still good. We're still good enough. We're still great. And because we are a child of God. So there's nothing that really needs to change. If you want to stay where you're at and you're happy, go for it, right? But if you're like me and you have this, you don't know how it got there, you don't know where it comes from, but there's this like desire to elevate, to do something different. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you just get bored of something and you're wanting to try something new. And you just have this vision, like just pops into your head. And you're like, where'd that come from? I don't know. I don't know. But it feels good to think about it, right? But then you're paralyzed because you realize that you have to become somebody different. You have to maybe change the way you're thinking, maybe change the way you're spending money, maybe change the way you're, have your relationships or, spending your time. Maybe you're having to change your jobs. I don't know. Like there's a change that has to happen. You have to stop binge watching Bridgerton. You have to stop with the social media. You have to get off, right? And do things differently. Maybe you got to change your diet. You got to get out and you got to walk. That's hard, right? That's hard. It's a change. And I think a lot of times we just get paralyzed because we know deep down that somehow we've got to change and we just don't want to do it. We just choose not to. We would rather just live in the comfort zone than take the additional steps needed to elevate. And if you're happy with that, then that's good. That's good. If you're happy, then obviously don't do anything. But if you're sitting there and you're like, I'm just like feeling like something's missing here. I mean, I hope this is a message for you to like wake up and realize that today is a day that you literally can change the rest of your life. But you can't if you are giving into the fear of it, if you think that you have to wait for perfection, if you are waiting for somebody to be behind you, get behind your dream, if you are listening to the crap that your parents told you for years, if you are, you know what I'm saying? You have to like move with that. And I honestly believe you don't have to be anyone special. You don't have to be anyone famous or great to get through any of this. I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom with no college education. There are so many examples of people who are just average Joes, and then they create these businesses and you're like, what the heck, right? Or they do something great and different, and they write a book or they start a podcast and they just morph into an elevated version of themselves. So all of this to say, I don't know what it is for you, where the gap is from your taking action on what you want in your life, the knowing what to do and then actually taking the action on it. But isn't it worth finding it out? Like, isn't it worth it to figure that out for yourself? If you could just sit and envision like how life might be different for you if you achieved whatever it is that you wanted. And if you don't know what you want, that's kind of what we're focusing on this week in our workshop, our levelupyourgoals.com workshop. We're taking some hard looks of what we want and what we don't want. I hope you come join us. And then let me look and see if you have any questions. I have to put on my readers because 56 is doing me well. Gina's found my podcast. Yay! You need to learn. You don't need to do anything. You mean you want to learn, right? I want it to happen, says Lori. I have been divorced and have the best supporter now. Just need to achieve my desire. I'm a wreath and bow maker, but need the business aspect. You want to acquire it. We don't have to do anything. We don't need to do anything. We just want it. A want changes your energy because now it's something you desire, right? Ireland is in the house. Welcome. Ireland, beautiful. Did you have a storm? I think you had a bad storm, didn't you, recently? Okay, you guys, I'm getting ready to jump off. I literally have like 20 minutes. Keep asking any questions that you have below, and I will come back and check them. Hashtag replay. I hope got some use out of it. Share it with somebody who is like on the fence, paralyzed, because my goal for you is to realize your potential and to believe in yourself and know that you already have the best team available for you. And it's on the spirit side of it. It is called your higher self, and it is called God, already waiting for you. Take the action. Do the hard, scary work. Get out of your heads and just do the thing. Just do the thing. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Honestly. All right. Bye, guys. I love you.